Before I start this video, I know there are a lot of very serious things surrounding Deshaun Watson right now, and I just want to say off the bat, I'm not going to take this into account. That's not what we're here to talk about today. I want to focus solely on the football side of things, and we're not going to be talking about next season. We're going to be talking about the last full season he played. I hope it goes without saying, but everything is alleged to this point. I hope he's innocent, but if he's not, I hope they get things taken care of properly and he's held accountable. But moving on, I was going through some old numbers because I am so desperate for this upcoming football season. One thing caught my eye that I think I missed, and that is Deshaun Watson might have had one of the most impressive years I've seen from a quarterback in a very long time. I want to talk about why his 2020 season was one of the most impossible years I have ever seen, and I'm not exaggerating. He might very well be the best quarterback in the entire league. Before we get into Deshaun's numbers, we need to give context to the situation he was in, because that is everything for this argument. Because I think the reason his season gets such little attention is because the Texans went 4-12, and looking closer at it, it's actually remarkable that they won 4 games. Every single part of the offense helps or hurts the quarterback. The offensive line, the wide receivers and tight ends, the running game, and the offensive coordinator. Well, the Texans had almost the worst of everything across the board. Beside Laramie Tunsil, who's a great tackle, most of the time Deshaun was running for his life, which makes for great highlight plays, but also makes plays that should have worked completely dead. And they couldn't block for the run either, which was their main issue. They finished 31st in the league with 91 yards per game. Every now and then they could pick up some yards, but eventually had to abandon the run game altogether because they had to play from behind, which we'll talk about more. But who is Deshaun throwing to? I mean, what's his excuse? He has DeAndre Hopkins, a top 3 receiver in the NFL. Oh wait, that's right. They traded him away for fractions of what is worth in return. The Texans did have Will Fuller, who I love, but he's consistently proven to be a guy that will give you half a season of really good football before getting injured. He also has some limitations with his size, but these can be hidden having a true number 1 receiver like D-Hop. That's why it was such a big deal when they let him go. Brandon Cooks is very underrated to me, but even compared to the weapons that all other top 10 quarterbacks have in the league, this is much less. Same with the tight end position. Very average, if not bad, in this department. And we've seen offenses with not a lot of talent make up for it on the defensive side of the ball. Well, unfortunately for Deshaun, his defense was pretty much bottom 5 in every category as well. Bottom 5 in pass rush, secondary, and overall just a bottom of the barrel defense. So what does this do for our context? Well, it changes the playbook for the Texans offense on what they can run once they get down by so much. So now that we have our context, we can now look at Deshaun's numbers and on the surface, I already know what some people are going to say, but trust me, we're going to cover everything. First of all, he threw for a league-leading 4,823 yards, but not only that, he threw the ball the 10th most times out of any quarterback in the NFL. He was 3rd in the league behind Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees in completion percentage with a very impressive 70.2%. And out of all quarterbacks who played 15 games or more, only Patrick Mahomes threw for fewer interceptions with 6, where Deshaun had 7. Another thing that is very important to mention is Carson Wentz was the only person that was sacked more than Deshaun Watson with 50 to Deshaun's 49. He was actually sacked on 8.3% of all passing attempts. And Deshaun being an incredible dual threat quarterback with the ability to get away from a lot of sacks, that is very eye-opening. It just shows you how much pressure he faced every single game. He also had the highest yards per attempt by far than any other quarterback, almost a full yard than any other player. So now if we take a step back and we combine our context with the numbers and the film, they lay out a very impressive, almost impossible story. We see an obviously elite quarterback who was underarmed, didn't have the talent at receiver that other quarterbacks have, didn't have the offensive line or the run game that he could depend on. He was getting sacked and pressured at alarming rates and was on the run for all these plays, asked to do a ton, especially when the defense gives up the lead, and they knew Deshaun was going to throw it. And even when he was running for his life, he was still able to be one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league, push the ball down the field further than any other quarterback in the league, put up more yards than anyone, threw a ton of touchdowns, and turned the ball fewer than almost any other quarterback throwing to lesser talent. To me, this is one of the most impressive things I've seen from a quarterback in a very long time. The combination of his numbers and his expectations with lack of talent and coaching and ownership around him is so alarming. Now we can imagine Deshaun on a team like the Bucs or the Browns, who have a top 5 defense, top 5 offensive line, a really good run game, coaching, and incredible incredible receivers and tight ends. When you actually think about it through this lens, it's scary to think what he could do with a team like that. And that's exactly why you see him talent-wise up there with any quarterback in the league. And at this current time, I think you can only make the case for Mahomes as being a better quarterback, but I think you could also make the argument with what Deshaun did last year is almost more impressive than what Mahomes has done in any season. So even though everyone sees him as an elite quarterback, I still think he's incredibly underrated. And why I think it's important to look more than just yards thrown, because you could say, oh, he was asked to do more, but the specific numbers like the attempts, completion percentage, yards per attempt, touchdown interception ratio puts a much more obvious picture and why he had an MVP-like season on a terrible football team. But let me know what you guys think. Am I overreacting to this? Because as I look at the quarterbacks in the league, a lot of people have Josh Allen over him, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. I just think he is flat out a better quarterback talent than all of those guys without a doubt. I think him and Mahomes are by far the two most impressive quarterbacks in the entire league. But make sure to let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like this video if you liked it. Make sure to comment down below what you think of Deshaun Watson and who you want me to cover next. And make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. I appreciate y'all so much, and as always, I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.